Okay, my name is Mario, otherwise known as Chucky Kill Kill 88. Well, here's what I'm gonna talk about today before I go to bed, because I just got back from work. Most people are making a deal, about the whole '90s situation, whether like the standards of being a '90s kid. Well, I don't really consider myself a '90s kid. I just don't. I was born in '94. I don't really consider myself that because I was born in the early or mid early 90s. Yeah, mid early 90s, and I'm I'm not gonna remember 90 to 1993. I was conceived 93. I'm not gonna remember anything. I wasn't born yet. Me, I consider myself a late 90s kid. I'm not a 90s kid at all. My older brothers and sisters have more memories of the 90s than I did because they were born before the 90s, so they would know. I would say people born in the 80s are more, they're the true 90s kids right there. People born in the 80s are the true 90s kids because they were born before the 90s and they actually lived through all the 90s. Well, me, it was kind of like this. I started my education in the late 90s. And the earliest I remember back is like late 96 because that's my favorite show, Come Glam, aired. And my memory for 96 is, watching Dexter's Lab and you know, and then '97 Johnny Bravo and all that. But like, kids are like born like '97 and talk about how they grew up to like '90s stuff. I was like, well, for one, hear me out. That's true, but like, they didn't, they didn't actually live through '90s. Like the early 2000s had like the '90s feel. So for that, me, I'm a late '90s slash early 2000s kid because I did grow. I was still a kid in the 2000s when it started. So let's just start down the list for what I remember. Saboon Fu came out in '99. I remember watching JJ the Jet Plane, best shit of my life. I remember watching Kablam, Hey Arnold, Rugrats, and then if they had reruns of Doug, they'd just play it. Not the Disney Doug, just sucks. I hate Disney's Doug. I like Nickelodeon's Doug better. It just sounds more cool. I remember watching all that, I actually watched it when like season 4 started. Season 3 or 4, around when it started, because season 1 started when I was born. I remember watching the Good Burger movie, Johnny Bravo, like I said before, Powerpuff Girls, and I also remember watching PBJ Otter. What the PBJ Otter, when that show on Disney's, Playhouse Disney. Yeah, I like that show. I love that show. That's shit right there. I remember getting up every Saturday morning and watching it. One Saturday morning with that ABC Kids thing. Yeah, I love watching that show. And now that I'm almost 17, I turn back and I watch that show. I was like, damn, they fucked it up. I was so mad because they did. I was like, this is not, they killed everything. That's why I barely watch TV anymore. I just can't watch it because all that stuff is on it. I just don't like it, and it's just all corrupt. Like I don't like that. Like they're teaching kids about bad manners, the stupid stuff, like that iCarly shit. I hate iCarly. Like I freaking hate that show. I also hate Victoria's True Jackson VP. Like what is this they're putting on? Like these kids shouldn't be watching that shit. They should be watching stuff that we grew up to. Like most of us grew up to, and we're all different. We all have different brands. We all of us do not all like remember like all that stuff. We're not gonna, but like we shouldn't be arguing about it. We should, be talking about it, how good times we had. But okay, but if there would be a standard, like I would say 95, 95 for the most, because around because therefore when the '90s ended, well, I'm gonna consider 2000, the year 2000 in the '90s because it had the '90s feel. It still had the '90s feel, even though it's not '90s. I would consider that I would consider 95 because they're at least 5 years old when it ended, and plus the 90s, the baby's 90s shows that are on. Who's gonna watch them? That don't mean kids that are born like 96. They're not gonna not remember that. So I would say borderline around 95, 96. But true 90s kids are born in the 80s. That's where it is. That's a deadfall of true 90s kids. Like kids are born like well, people are born 1990 to 1994, late 90s kids, because we're babies growing up, and then we actually started school in the 90s. We started our education in the 90s. I understand most 80s babies started their school in the 90s, but like they're the true 90s kids. I'm not a 90s kid at all. I'm not. I'm not, because like I hadn't grown up like in all of the 90s. I wouldn't live through all of it. So I spent like at least 7 years in like the rest of it, and that's all the 90s right there. And after that, 2000s had that 90s feel. I understand that's where we were coming from. I actually like all those shows. Like I remember getting like a PlayStation One when I was like 4, and you think 4-year-olds are not good at video games, but I actually was actually pretty talented, and I remember playing Spyro 2, and Spyro was the best game. Spyro 2 is the easiest out of all, I would say. Of all the three that are out on the PS1, I like Spyro 2 better. And I beat the whole game in like 2 weeks. Because I got it for a late birthday present because it came out a month after I turned 5. And Crash Bandicoot, that was a really good game. A lot of people say Crash Bandicoot is challenging. It's not. It's actually pretty cool. Like, I remember getting all the gems and all that, you know. It's all G. It's all G, you know. Cortex and shit. And then Crash Team Racing wasn't that bad. But after, when all the Crash and Spyro games aired on PS2, when aired on PS2, fail, Fail, with a capital F. Well, all those are caps. Fail, and with exclamation points at the end. I remember watching the Attitude Era. I grew up to the Attitude Era, and like I didn't do any of the stuff that I see on TV. No, because I know wrestling was fake. I was smart to know wrestling was fake, and all that stuff. And it was just fun to watch because of Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and then Owen Hart dying. Because I remember that day because a lot of people were upset, and when my preschool teacher actually liked Owen Hart, and she was crying. My dad was actually watching it on pay per view, and he actually saw Owen Hart fall like 50 or 60 feet down in the air. It was just crazy. I remember that day because like a lot of people crying. It was sad, like rest in peace, Owen Hart. So I remember when The Rock really everybody hated Triple H. Everybody did. And then when Stone Cold Steve Austin just died, this is like 2000, 2001. When he decided, to join the WCW side, then everybody hated him. Stone Cold Steve Austin is still good to this very day. As one of my favorite wrestlers, I enjoy him. And anyone remember Too Cool? With Scotty 2 Hotty and Rikishi, and from Master Flex, which is actually Jerry Lawler's son. Good shit right there. Yo, Too Cool was too cool for the WWF. I basically stopped watching wrestling when Eddie Guerrero died. I couldn't watch it. Like, it was gonna be gay, and everybody knew that. I just want to stop watching wrestling. But Attitude Era kicked ass. Everybody liked it. I remember when The Rock used to say like jabroni, he's gonna kick a jabroni ass. If you smell what The Rock is cooking, yeah, hell yes, I remember that stuff. I have a pretty decent memory, even though I was a little kid. Yeah, I actually miss my childhood. I want to go back to it. If I would do it all over again. But like, if I were, I don't even know what the hell these managers, producers are on, putting all these shows for these kids to watch. It's fucked up. I don't like it. Let's see. Any memories I can look back. Anyone remember watching Kablam with Henry and June and the little segments with Sliz and Fondue, Prometheus and Bob, Life with Loopy, that's what it was. It was all crazy. I love those shows. Like, I just do. Like, I can't watch these shows right now. They're just corrupt. I don't like them. Yeah. Clarissa Explains. I didn't really like the girl shows in the 90s, with the exception of the Amanda Show. I like the Amanda Show. It came out November '99. I remember watching that with I was actually home alone one day. I don't even know why. And I was 5, like I said, and I watched the first episode, and it was actually I thought it'd be boring, but it was actually dumb. Create like dumb as funny. So you wanna know how iCarly came to be? iCarly, it started with the Amanda Show. Drake and Josh were on the Amanda Show, and so they had their own show. Miranda Cosgrove was on that show, and she had her own show. It was just sucked. Before all that happened, Amanda was on All That Show, which kicked ass. After 2001, it just don't want to get all that. Like I missed that long. When Josh Server's on it, it was so beast. I love that shit. Let me think back. Cause I know some of the PBS kids they were really good. PBS kids, it was boss. It was freaking boss. Why is my computer doing this? Yeah, my childhood was really boss. Like so a lot of people, other people's childhoods, like it was just crazy. Sorry if I'm doing anything with the computer. It's just the disc was floating. It, I remember because I did all these glitches with the Spyro. Actually, when I first bought the game, because you know how you get Super Flame at the end, like you get the Super Flame at the end when you get like all 64 orbs and all the gems. Well, I thought Super Flame was part of the game, but when I asked my friends, they're like, "No, we never got Super Flame." I was like, "Are you serious?" So I got the glitch, and that's why I beat the whole game. It was easy. And I remember watching Toy Story 2. Toy Story, I didn't see that yet because I was a baby. I was still baby. I was like a year old baby. I was over a year old. I'm not gonna remember that. What 1 year old remembers that? So when I was 5, Toy Story 2 came out, and that was the shit. I love that movie. And Toy Story 3 just made me don't tell anybody, but it made me cry. It just did. It was sad. It actually almost relates to my timeline because I'm about to graduate high school. And all always leads up to that too. And he should have took the Andy's a bum. He should have took the toys to college with them. He should have. But like what he did what he did for a reason. He didn't want what 18-year-old is gonna bring the toys to school. Some people make fun of him. Nah, because he has to live his own life and all that. So I don't really blame Andy. Andy has like a reason. So I remember watching Courage the Cali Dog, with Muriel and Eustace. Eustace is a hater. He's a freaking hater. He hates everything that Courage do. He just hates on Courage. And Powerpuff Girls, Blossom, Bubbles, Buttercup, you know, Professor. Hell yeah. I used to watch that show. Honestly, it was a girl show. I didn't really care. And then when Ed and Eddie came out, Ed and Eddie, it was funny. The first episode was when someone's still in Double D's magnifying glass, and Sarah's doll was like taken away. See, I don't even got no papers around me. I don't need to cheat. I have this at heart. Like I remember this. And the second segment was about I think hmm, yeah, someone took everybody's stuff. And hold on a second. I'm thinking back. Yeah, that's all I remember. Cause Johnny had to pee and everything, and they're taunting him, but he didn't really do it. It's just people were stupid and they misplaced their stuff and they're not organized. And Double D, I expected more out of Double D. Like he should have been organized the whole time. Like he's like the nerd out of the whole group. The Ed and Eddie movie, not that bad. I don't think it was bad. Not for me at least. But I don't know what you guys are thinking. But it wasn't a bad movie at all. Yeah. So that's not completely all, but like if you want to hit me up, you know,